Hello fellow YouTube friends, how's it going? Today's video we continue on this little mini series where we travel to the London airports by train to see what the journey is like, whether you're meeting somebody or jetting off on a holiday yourself. The two train operators we'll be looking at today is the Gatwick Express and Thameslink. If you're interested on which is the best way to travel from central London to Gatwick Airport, whether you're going by Gatwick Express or Thameslink, please watch on and let me know if you've travelled this route before and tell me what you think is the best route. We start at London Victoria. London Victoria is one of the terminus stations in London serving the South Coast and Kent. From here you can get trains down to the South Coast via the Brighton Main Line and over in Kent via the Chatham Main Line. London Victoria is also connected by London Underground, where you are served by Victoria, Circle and District lines, as well as a bus station outside, and just around the corner you've got Victoria Coast Station, which can be found at just a short walk from the main terminal. From here we'll be taking the Gatwick Express today. We'll be going non-stop ish from London Victoria to Gatwick Airport. You'll have a brief stopover in East Croydon, down in South London. The journey is expected to take about 30 minutes or so. The journey will be taking us through South London along the Brighton Main Line, past East Croydon and Purley, breezing through the town of Redhill, where we will arrive at Gatwick. Distance travelled is around about 30 miles. Previous trains used on the Gatwick Express include the Class 442, the Class 460, and the Class 489. The history of the Gatwick Express goes back to 1984, when it used to use intercity carriages until its privatisation in 1996. National Express then took the reins until 2008, where it was merged with Southern Railway. Currently, Go via Thameslink are the current owners. During the pandemic, all Gatwick Express services were suspended and trains were used on some Great Northern routes out of King's Cross. So if you saw the odd Gatwick Express heading up the Northern Main Line towards like Peterborough, and you're like, what's that all about? That's why. They were just shipping out all the Class 387s to all the different train operators just to make good use of them. There are two main entrances for London Victoria. Trains towards Kent will go through the left-hand side, and trains heading to the South Coast will go straight through. As you walk into the main concourse, you have the ticket area to the right and the toilets. There is a seating area in the middle of the ticket area, which is a new addition from last time I was there, but this was some 10 years ago, when I used to live in these neck of the woods. You have W.H. Smith's in the middle, with some places to eat just above it and near the barriers, which is a standard affair with most London terminus stations. Just before you go towards your train, you also have the departure boards above. Walking up to the barriers, I saw this message regarding the usage of my contactless card. At the time of this recording, it seems that the barriers at platform 13 were set for a premium fare, so the message advised using barriers from platforms 9 to 12, which I duly obliged. Here is our train for today. A Class 387 in a striking red Gatwick Express livery. First thoughts as I got on this train, it's basically the Heathrow Express with red seating. However, the Heathrow Express trains had very useful real-time information displays on board, so I could check departure times. Come on Gatwick Express, you slacking. Seating configuration is a 2+2 affair with some table seating. Towards the doors you do have space for luggage, and there's also accessibility space on board. Okay, well I've walked through enough of this train now. Let's take a seat and see what's up. Legroom is actually quite generous on board, and I'm in standard class. I'm 5'7" for reference. You have a tray table behind the seat, which is clean and sturdy. You have a 3-pin socket for charging just underneath, and also a reading light just above your head. Having a look at first class now. Doesn't really look that much different from standard, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, I've got a little tissue over the seat, and that's about it. We depart from platform 13 and are making our way to our first stop, which is East Croydon.
So three of these coaches, number 1, 5 and 9 are formed of first class sections, which are reserved for first class tickets.
On the left, as we cross the River Thames, you can just make out Battersea Power Station redevelopment. Anybody who remembers the old power station and how it lay derelict for so long should feel pleasantly surprised at how the development has taken shape. Passing through Clapham Junction, which we won't be stopping at today, Clapham Junction is in the top 10 of busiest railway stations in Britain, with about 8.3 million passengers passing through. It is the busiest railway station for interchanges between services and the only rail station in Great Britain with more interchanges than entries or exits. A short time later, we arrive at our first actual stop on today's journey, which is East Croydon. We are 10 miles south of London Bridge. East Croydon has been undergoing a massive development as part of the Croydon Vision 2020. You'll see a lot of high-rise apartments springing up over here. The station itself went through a redevelopment where you have a footbridge above the platforms with an exit situated up there as well. My thoughts on the journey so far as we pick up speed and scoot down towards West Sussex. The service is efficient and quick enough for those not wanting to go by taxi. The seats are comfortable for the length of time you're on board. It's not been super busy. Having access to contactless ticket purchases means you can simply rock up and hop on. Journey time of 30 minutes from London Victoria is pretty decent. We'll see what Thameslink services has to offer when we're on the return leg back up to London. As we step off the train at Gatwick, you can just get that smell of aeroplane fuel just emanating in the air. Never grow tired of that. The Gatwick Express will now continue down to Brighton as per its normal service. You will notice that there are some station upgrades going on. You can see this is a current theme at the moment. Post-COVID, everyone's just like getting all their stations upgraded, which is actually really good to see. We're just east of the South Terminal. Work includes widening the station concourse and the platforms, and that should be completed by 2023. Okay, so the return of today's journey involves us heading back up the Brighton main line on a Class 700, heading towards St Pancras International, where today's journey ends. Let's see how Thameslink compares with Gatwick Express as an alternative. How is the comfort? How crowded will it be? Hopping on board now, for those who've never been on a Thameslink before, the first thing you notice is how long these trains are. They consist of 12 carriages. It connects from as far north as Peterborough all the way down to Brighton. As we check out the seats, legroom isn't as generous as Gatwick Express. So be mindful if you're a tall person, which I am not. Seats are comfortable, but they kind of feel around the same as the Gatwick Express. I can't really see that much of a difference. You'll also notice that there are no tray tables here either. There is space overhead and a small luggage rack section at various points along the carriage, but on these type of trains, there's no seat chargers. So just remember that when you're using this particular service. If you have a dead battery, you better have a power bank. There is first class on board, which is towards the front and back of the train, and these will be the best place if you want some peace and quiet if the train is busy. However, these sections are not declassified, so you will have to pay extra to sit there. Coming into London Bridge now. One of the main termini in London, and is based in the London Borough of Southwark. You can catch services to Kent, Surrey. You've got connections for London Overground and Thameslink heading north, which is where the train will be on our way up. I will drop a proper trip report from here, as this being one of the oldest railway stations in the world, having opened in 1836, I have to give it a lot more love than just a pass-through stop. Coming into London Blackfriars, one of the other terminus stations in London. One of the more interesting stations in London being that the station spans across the River Thames. Can you imagine all of that weight from the steel and iron, plus the hundreds of tons worth of trains traversing this bridge? This is a truly remarkable engineering achievement. The main line station was opened in 1886 and was part of the London, Chatham and Dover Railway. Amazing to think though that in 2022, the line is actually still present and you can still take trains from here to Chatham and Dover 136 years later. City Thameslink is next up. Relatively new station compared with the others on this route, having opened in 1990 to replace the Holborn Viaduct railway station. It is one of the few mainline stations in central London that does not have an interchange with the London Underground. It is roughly equidistant from Chancery Lane and St Paul's on the Central Line. Arriving at Farringdon, where we're almost at our journey's end for today. Farringdon is served by Thameslink services, Hammersmith and City, Circle, and just recently the brand new Elizabeth line. I will be doing a separate video on Elizabeth line coming soon, so please subscribe if you're liking this type of video, and we'll hopefully have something up for you relatively soon. Okay, so let's look at both services today. Let's look at Gatwick Express first. I was actually surprised with the efficiency of the service. We left on time, took 30 minutes from London Victoria to Gatwick. Seats were not Heathrow Express levels of refinement, but being that this express service is almost 50% cheaper, let's not forget that, then I can compromise on this small little thing. Having power outlets on board is a subtle touch, but an important one. I wonder sometimes about some trains having USBs in your seats. If they are not USB-C, then you won't give your phone the boost it actually needs for the time that you're on board versus just having a fast charger. So I'm not really a big fan of just standard USBs. It doesn't really charge your phone that much in the time that you're going to be on train, which is only half an hour. In comparison to the Thameslink service, at the time of recording, it is actually the same cost using both. You can also use contactless between the two stations. The seats, I would say, are the same level of comfort. They do not have tray tables, unlike the Gatwick Express, and do not have overseat lights that I could see. You could also stop at a few stations along the way before reaching central London, as opposed to Gatwick Express, where it only stops at East Croydon before heading to the airport. Thameslink is not in any way, shape or form selling itself as an express option, more like an alternative option to what is already in place. If you have business more in the northern part of central London, then it makes sense to take this service over Gatwick Express. However, if your business or your stay is more towards West London, then you might as well go from Victoria, as it's going to be a lot shorter route to go to. My vote though today goes with Gatwick Express. I feel it's a better value for money. Before I set off on this trip though, I didn't think that would be the case. But if you consider the subtle things like a tray table, a power outlet, a virtually non-stop journey, which I always prefer, then this is where my vote goes to. So, there we have it. Trip to Gatwick Airport using two routes today. interesting trip. Learned a lot that I didn't know before. Hope you found it all very informative. If you like this type of video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It's helping the algorithm push this type of video to other people who are interested, or maybe they're planning their route for an upcoming trip. So that would be really appreciative. We should have some more videos coming up soon. As always, Ron Wanders off, signing out. Enjoy the rest of the day, people.